Welcome everyone, and we're back with a new episode of Herding Cats. New episode of Herding Cats.
We're gonna laugh the whole time. Sorry. All right, let's do it.
Hold on. Okay, so as you can see, we're already having fun. Had a lot of fun backstage already. Just a little clarification because everyone was expecting Artie to be here. Sadly, Artie can't be here because he has a terrible migraine and is in bed at the moment. So a little love towards Artie. We were lucky enough to have Robert join in. So Robert, thanks for that. Great
You're most welcome.
to have you back on the show.
Glad to be here.
Our guest tonight, to me, someone special because I've watched him on YouTube mainly because of the show on scientist Mel's channel, Audacity. And if you haven't seen that show, please go and watch because every single episode is amazing. We're going to talk to Doc Savage. So, Doc, for people who do not know you, please do a brief introduction and tell us who you are.
Well, firstly, many thanks for the kind introduction and the opportunity to be here. And meeting Robert, I love meeting new people that I would never meet in real life, and knowing within about 10 minutes that you're like, yeah, I'm never ever going to have a problem with this guy. So that's a pleasure. But first and foremost, as we're probably going to explore science, I'm not a physician. My training is in microbiology, medical microbiology specifically, and then biochemistry at the doctoral level. And I've worked in research academically and development in the industry for the last all of my life. Or at least since I was 16 and started training. So, I mean, that's the core area of my expertise. But I like talking to interesting people and exploring the darkest corners of YouTube to see the wonderful and infinite variety of freak shows that thrive and survive and enrich our daily lives by their amazing diversity. So a big part of a big part of my thing on YouTube is community, because I don't interact with other humans very much, and this is a way that I can do it and can control it and feel comfortable with it. And I've never had more fun in my whole life than sitting here with guys from 3 different continents going, look at this guy drinking his own piss.
Hold on. All right. So everyone, we've been laughing for about the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just described, Doc, you just described me. I could easily, this is my bedroom. If I was worth $20 million, I would never leave my bedroom. Twitter and YouTube's a great way for me to interact with people kind of without interacting with people. I can go into Operation Shutdown in a way you've never seen before. It's almost a pathology. So I hung on every word you just said, man.
My friend, I aspire to be the hermit living in the cave. And presently I live in an attic full of books. And one of the best friends I'll ever be privileged enough to have in my life is someone that I've not met yet. I've known the guy for 4 years, and I love him like a brother.
Yeah.
And this is the new adaptation that our cultures have taken, and I think it's a beautiful time to be alive because we can do this.
Absolutely.
And we can meet a lot of people because you do have a YouTube channel where I recently met Jesus, and I'm still completely impressed by whatever I saw on both your channel and his channel. I need to know, where did you find this guy?
Well, a remarkable thing about the community development of the internet is that instead of there being one guy in your village who thinks he's Napoleon, there's now an entire community of Napoleons all over the world. Or the one guy who's like, urine. I haven't had a cold for a while. This is the answer. I mean, now he has a following. And I think that's good, because that guy usually didn't end well. And now he has friends and communities. And I'm being funny and I'm being serious as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know people who can only interact socially if they're dressed as a giant flying squirrel in a full fur suit. And I don't judge, and I don't get it, but I interact socially better if I'm wearing a dinner suit and I know which fork to use. I see it as degrees of the same thing, like social comfort. Okay, there's a ritual here. I know what to do. It's not scritching and yiffing with Wile E. Coyote, but I get it. I'm like, I can only talk with you if I'm wearing my air feeder.
Everyone has their normal, right? and if one thing I've learned in my very short life, you're right. Some people can't do shit without wearing a squirrel outfit, wearing a unicorn, whatever the fuck. You do you, right? Whatever makes you feel good. No, and me neither, unless we were talking about what we were earlier about microwaving shit. Now I've got a problem. And I can't if you need to wear a squirrel outfit to a fine dining restaurant, you do you, man. I just draw the line at microwave crap.
Well, the other side of it, the dark side, which is really the strong.
We didn't already hit the dark side.
No. I mean, I'm introducing the audience slowly. What we just discussed was comic relief that we introduced specifically to defuse the darkness. The dark side is the people who either willingly or unwittingly select out the weakest and manipulate them to the point that sometimes they actually die. There's a body count associated.
Yeah.
So the things that myself and Michael Omni-Eris do on psychic vampires are intended to be funny in the way that we both make sense of the darkness by noticing it and going, we see you and we're going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
And part of it is motivated by the fact that we've both been that guy, the 20-year-old who is taken into the cult.
Yeah.
Or the guy who's vulnerable and down on his luck, and someone is a benefactor who isn't really a benefactor. I've been that guy. Mike's been that guy.
Yeah.
And we've seen them come and go, and most of them survive, but not all of them. So microwaving your own shit, don't do that. That's actually I've not done it.
What?
I mean,
don't say it.
I was like, I keep fungus and I grow mushrooms. And I was like, well, that's a good way of sterilizing it. And then I remembered all of the videos we've made. And I'm like, no, that's a bridge too far. Don't do it. So that's off my list.
Were you trying to link fungus growth and microwaving shit? Because I don't think those two can go together.
Well, fertilizer and sustainable growth and whatnot.
Okay.
Shit, it's really good fertilizer. But I then thought that if I live in my attic full of books and eat nothing but psychedelic mushrooms grown on my own shit, it's like being Matt Damon on Mars, except really fucking high forever. They're coming for me any day now. I'm on the roof.
I love living my life high. Magic mushrooms off my own fecal matter. That's a hard line for me. I'm gonna have to say no to that.
It's a line too far. It's not necessary. Don't do it.
Yeah, you're right. It's not necessary. That's why I'm not going to do it.
So to be perfectly honest, the people on the show that do these things and seem to be happy doing them, I'm like, yes, I love you for doing your mental back case, but it's all good. The people who then take their delusion and try and hurt other people with it.
You're right. You're right.
And the ones who do it while being bright enough and coherent enough to know that they're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that offends every instinct I have, because it's dishonest, it's hurtful,
Couldn't agree
flat
more.
Earth,
Couldn't agree more.
young Earth creationism,
Yeah.
and it all boils down to, you are nothing, I am more than you. Give me everything you have.
Yeah.
I like to boil things down to their bare essence, and
Absolutely.
to me, that's what it is. Fundamentalism of any stripe is that you can become something by giving me everything.
Yeah. I feel the exact same way. It's, be it sex, food, whatever it is, whatever you like, as long as there's not a victim, I personally don't give a shit. Now, would I eat my own shit? No, I wouldn't. Again, like I said earlier, that's why I've got a toilet, a bidet.
Yep.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
If you want to eat your own shit, your dog shit, your cat shit, you do you. But when you line your neighbors up to do that, you're right. Now you're an asshole.
Precisely.
Right? My dog's shit will cure your epilepsy, your cancer, right? It'll help grow your amputated arm back. Yeah, you're right. Now you're an asshole. But if you yourself want to eat shit out of your own backyard, knock yourself out. I'm not going to give you a kiss or call you friend. But you do you, as long as your actions don't include a victim.
Michael and I did a retrospective the other night where we talked about some of our successes, and it's important, I think, to focus on, the people that you've helped. So we had Yogi Zen, who looked like, imagine David Lee Roth in about 1990. So, getting towards the end, big hair, but, maybe not where he was in 1985. David Lee Roth, who had not eaten for 3 weeks and lived in a cave. That was Yogi Zen. And he was drinking his piss, and it was the piss-only diet. And we reached out to Yogi Zen and his people, and now he's making self-assembly coconut furniture. He's still drinking his pee. He's put on some weight. He's doing great. He's actually got a business. It's not IKEA, but it's a step up. He's eating actual food again. So we count that as a success,
I don't think I will ever call drinking your own waste product success. I don't care how many dollar signs are after your last name. If at the end of the day you're drinking your own piss and eating your own shit, by my standards, but who the fuck am I, that's a failure. I would much rather live the lifestyle I have now and not eat my own waste product than eat my own waste product and make 10 times the amount of money I'm making now. Not worth it.
You and I, we're never going to disagree on this. I mean, here's the darkness of Yogi Zen, though. He was featured in, get this, and this is completely legit, National Geographic.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That was his high water mark, and then it all went to shit until we reached out and got him 5150'd. It's like, dude, you've gone over the mark here. You're great. You're funny. You look like David Lee Roth in a cave. It's all good except you're dying. So we reached out, and the Doc Savage Institute has a standing barrelhead fund of $1,000 that we dole out free, gratis, and for nothing to people who need to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Sure.
You're in a cult. You need a bus ticket. You're hungry. You need a place to live.
Right.
You're sorted. I don't care if you like me or not. You're in a dangerous space. You need to not be there.
Exactly.
Here it is. And 4 times out of 5 people use it, and they work it out. And 1 time out of 5 we get ripped off. And what the fuck? It's cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Someone takes the $200, which is fuck all, and buys a hooker and some blow, and I'm like, well, okay, you had the one chance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine. You made that call. So the serious side is occasionally we have the opportunity to actually help people.
Yeah.
But most of the time, Michael and myself are interested in the people who are on the margin. The ones who are just about to go, yeah, the crystal thing sounds kind of good, and maybe I'll just kind of step a little further. Or the cult thing, or the starseed thing, or whatever. What we need is a voice on the borderline your buddy to go, this is a whole bunch of fucking bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah.
And just, you know, we're making fun of it because it's ridiculous. And that's how you break magic. And we talk about magic a lot, and magic is a real thing, and it does work, but not for the reasons that people think it works.
I think it is. Right. Exactly.
But if you break the ritual or the spell, if you will, by going, that bush really isn't fucking talking to you, by the way. You're being bamboozled. It all falls apart, you know.
Isn't it interesting that people like that who are creating a channel and going on YouTube with stuff that we would normally stay as far away from as humanly possible, those are the people who are gathering a following within no time. It is. I think it's probably because people want to watch train wrecks or sensational stuff, but the fact that they can get such a big audience in such a short amount of time, if they get mentioned at one place where people watch, they'll have a following in no time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot like epidemiology. If you sow your virus in the places that interact most, you know, I don't know the landscape fully, but if you connect enough dots, you get a lot of contacts. And my most popular video ever on my present channel, and to be clear, I consider YouTube channels as disposable because it's so easy to fuck them up, is Shani for Christ Fecal Follies. Fat bitch shits pantaloons in 420 shocker. And I'm like, this is entirely not my message, but it's like, it's got 5 times more views than anything else.
And that's another thing that really amazes me. So now you got a Christian channel. They're both kind of proud that they've got a porn channel as well. I've never been able to make that particular link. I have no clue. I have no clue how that would work.
The porn channel went away.
Yeah, I know.
It kind of withered on the vine because once you're charging $1.95 to see someone eat your ass out online, $1.95. I mean,
so
I watched 7 seconds.
We broke Robert. We broke Robert.
I needed that laugh.
Keep
the nose.
I have no idea what. You know what? And what's fucked up? This is actually my first drink. I'm not even drunk. I only poured it because you were drinking something.
Well, the problem, Robert, is that the person active in this scenario has an online ministry. I mean,
and I'm not making it up.
No,
it was like $33. We dropped it to $6, and then it was $1.95.
And you don't even have to. And you don't even have to go there. You can actually watch him on their regular channel, where he will sit naked in the room, playing Star Wars with a giant lightsaber. I don't get it. So when I always thought that I was crazy, but it turns out when you go on YouTube, you're probably one of the most normal people on the planet.
I'm okay. I swear, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's okay, Bubba. It's okay.
Oh, that's horrible. Your dog's protective.
Yeah, Bubba thinks my cry is a laugh, and so he's kind of protective of me. Oh my God, I needed that.
You know, I'm glad it's gone away because you know I watched 7 seconds of the doggy style thing, right? And I remember them, and I'll never forget them. But Shani looked like Billy the Fridge before Billy lost 200 pounds.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on, Bubba. I'm fine. I swear. Okay, I'm back.
Billy the Fridge getting his ass pounded by Cotton Eye Joe, and it scarred me. And I sent it to Michael. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He watched it and he's like, I'm not gay anymore, and I'm not straight. I just never want to have sex again. It's over for me.
We're breaking Robert.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, Robert,
this is the best cure for depression ever. I swear to God.
You said earlier maybe you wanted to learn something. I think you learned quite a few things already.
Okay, keep it going.
Shani's sex channel would have had a worse impact on human population than fucking coronavirus, because nobody would be fucking ever.
No.
And not tonight, dear.
Okay. Hold on. I need a minute.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're going to get Bubba Harden. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm back. I'm reset. The big guy's back. Okay. I'm going to take another drink. Please continue.
Is your dog okay?
He thinks my laugh is a cry. So there he is.
Oh, he's fine now. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh.
But, a theme that comes up almost every week between Mike and myself is, as comedy writers and inventive people, we couldn't create these narratives and make them credible.
Oh,
People, no fucking way. So it's like, no, real. This guy's deep frying his own shit. And this 800-pound Jesus freak is getting their ass eaten out for $1.95. No, shit. We couldn't put it in fiction and make it pass. So when I find these people, it's like, okay, my world just expanded a whole bunch.
But did you want it to expand like that?
It makes me happy and comfortable that I live in a culture where I can access that. I can see people that I don't agree with and I'm horrified by, and they're mostly doing okay. And when I see those folks, I'm like, all right, there are a few in front of me in the line when those trains finally arrive. I'm not the most fucked up on the block.
I was about to say, it's kind of like the Jerry Springer show. Mm-hmm. You watch that shit, because no matter how low your life is, at least you're not sleeping with your sister's boyfriend's cousin who just so happens to be your long lost twin. Yeah, you watch that shit to make you feel good about you, and my God.
But here's the thing that I really wanted to address, because you do have a show where you make fun of that, and we've been making fun of it on here for a little while. But when you go on their channel and confront them face to face, you're always kind of respectful. I think you're always kind to them, and you really do want to engage. That's a weird dynamic that I wasn't aware of, and I saw that when you went on Jill's channel. I think that's where we finally met on Jill's channel.
Yeah, of all places, darling, we met in front of an insane maniac.
Wow, so maybe I misheard that earlier. So you actually talked to this fucker?
I've spoken with him a couple of times.
Oh, start from the get-go. I want to hear all about this. I'm going to put my drink down so I don't spill it, because I'm going to tell him I'm getting ready to laugh my ass off. Please tell me all about this conversation with this demented idiot.
Jill doesn't have a lot to bring to the table, and
this is true.
I'm glad that the introduction with Peter happened. So, Peter, you were going into a point, I think.
Yeah, well, so when we were on Jill's channel, you actually tried to have a decent conversation with him, even though I think that that was the time where I was mocking him more than anything, and
Yeah,
you still were really respectful to him, tried to have a conversation, tried to reason with him, where I think that might not even be humanly possible because he's so far out in his own uh, uh,
he's fucked up.
ideas. I have no clue. I have no clue how to reach a guy like that. But
Well, he's either a half smart Poe or a dumbass fuckstick.
I think it's
And
option B.
those are the only two options.
Yeah.
And I hope it's the first. And if it's the first, he's more responsible, which ramps up my response. If it's the latter and he's a legit retard, then, I'll back off. I use blunt language because that's the environment we're in. And he deserves it.
Yeah. Allow me to quote noted historian and philosopher Michael Caine from the Batman series. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
There
And
you go.
I have absolutely run across people who they don't give a fuck. And their only mission in life is to be the ugliest, the meanest, the grossest, be it physically, emotionally, whatever adverb you want to throw in there. Some people are just wired to be fucked up. And if this Jill person is even 40% real, that person's an asshole.
Yeah.
And they're just they're on this earth to fuck shit up. And that's really it.
I mean, I look at, again, degrees and extremes of response. And what I talk about is mostly ways that folks can begin to interpret other humans as less than or different from human and treat them accordingly, because that never ends well. You start down that path, it's usually, we'll build a place for these people and then we'll make them go away. And ultimately, that's what we do. So I like to kind of keep my big sniffer on that.
Sure.
And I see some of the religious aspects and some of the cult things as being precisely that. It's just different means to exactly the same end. Yeah. And very occasionally I come across things that make me sit back and go, okay, that was different. And by different, I mean evil. And by evil, I mean, in this case, Kent Hovind apologizing, but not really, for the death of a 7-year-old, because... Yeah. He sat in the room with the parents and the audience and did a live broadcast and went, well, you came with 3 and you went home with 2 and it was a twin. So, I mean, fine.
It was a push.
The other kids had a great time.
Yeah.
And I remember a movie of the Nuremberg trials where the commandant of Auschwitz stood there in the stripped off uniform and went, well, they said I needed to do this job, and these are the things I did to do the job, and I did the job. Yeah. Why am I even here? And it was close to that. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, what happened to your humanity? I totally disengaged there,
Yeah. I don't think some of that shit is supposed to be like my former boss. He took his own life. He was in his early 50s. Yeah. He had more money than God. He had the body of a 19-year-old elite athlete. He only had sex with the finest women you've ever seen in your life. And one day he ate a bullet. Yeah. And everyone kept asking, well, why would he do it? Why would he do it? And I was like, one, there is no explanation I can give you. And 2, if I give you an explanation and it makes sense, you're probably next. There's certain things that just aren't supposed to make sense.
Yeah.
And so when people have that kind of mindset where you're going to shuck and jive and fuck people out of their life savings, rape, whatever the fuck, like you're talking about some of these people, it's not supposed to make sense. I firmly believe that some of this shit is just beyond. If you are even 4 ounces human, certain things just don't make fucking sense. Like I would never... To sit here, because I mean, Lilith actually told me that story about the Kent Hovind shit. I would never in my entire life talk to a set of parents who have 3 kids, left my theme park with 2, and be like, hey, focus on the good side. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? You're still back 66%, right?
He gave them a family season ticket.
Oh,
So
fuck me. And that's the thing. That's not supposed to make sense.
No, I agree.
You apologize profusely. You're like, I'll pay for the funeral. I mean, this is really fucked up. But to literally say 2 out of 3 ain't bad, you're missing something. It's not supposed to make sense to other people.
Well,
No,
considering
I agree
the funeral, he probably pay nothing, because he's got a big sign out front of his dinosaur park saying that
We have
you enter on
insurance.
your own risk. There's no insurance, so when something happens, you're completely on your own.
No.
And
Okay. Go ahead.
And he before he opened the park, he did several shows on that he wasn't going to have insurance, and that it's all entering on your own risk. If you get hurt, if you die, that's your fault. You should
It's God.
take care of yourself.
Jesus calls the good ones.
Man. And
Yeah.
these are Christians, right?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Okay, just checking. Just checking.
Yeah.
But I use Kent Hovind as an extreme example. He's like the homunculus, the golem of the kind of long-standing and well-entrenched idiotic evil. But thank goodness they're also inept.
Yeah.
And the flat earthers, as we discussed earlier, flat Earth. And basically, if I can convince you that the Earth is flat, I can sell you some shit.
No question. No
Yeah.
question.
Because you're buying magic beans at that point. I've got some gypsy gold as well, if you'd like it. So young Earth I see as one of those tiers, flat Earth is one, but we have concave Earth Jesus. Oh yeah. The Earth's concave, and a douchebag with rubber bands in his beard is actually Jesus.
Oh man. And
He's one of 2 competing Jesuses we have at the moment.
No,
The
no,
other
no,
Jesus.
no. There are more.
Oh, there's
there are
more.
more.
There's
We
more.
had one on the show. There's one in Japan. There's one in Russia. There's one
Stephen in prison.
there's a
Yeah.
female one in the U.S. who has and I think she's well funded too, because she has great
she is.
production quality on her videos, has a great website, and pretends to be she claims to be Jesus.
Awesome.
And can justify it with the Bible that Jesus was a female. So
Of course.
it's really interesting to see all of these people pop up. And we've got one in Holland too.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Local Jesus.
Yes. So this.
We have an ark as well. We've got a fucking ark.
Yes. Yes, we got an ark that is famous for 2 things. Once it broke loose and ruined a ton of ships in the harbor during a storm, and then he went on in the papers, social media, news outlets, because he needed to raise funds. He wanted to go to Brazil, and he needed a ship to transport his ark to Brazil because it wasn't seaworthy.
Shocking.
Yep.
So,
Oh, there you go. Sounds like your whole story is a whole bunch of horseshit.
well, to be fair, instead of Ken Ham's ark, he actually has livestock on his ark. Not 2 of every kind, but he does have some livestock on his ark. And
It's actually it's a cute place to go because the petting zoo and the whole business. It's nice, but no elephants, zebras, giraffes.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing really kind of out there. No dinosaurs.
But if it was
so
just
he's
a petting
fairly
zoo, I
accurate.
would-
He has two of every kind that are near him, which is probably what happened with
Exactly.
Near
Noah's
him,
Ark
right?
too.
Yeah.
But
He's got Dutch pigs, Dutch cows,
Yeah.
couple of Dutch horses. They're very happy. They have a lovely time.
yeah,
What about the Dutch kangaroos and the Dutch penguins? Oh, sorry.
Heretic.
Damn that! Those scientific facts. What the fuck was I thinking?
I love the art.
And so Dutch
I
Jesus is convinced that we are all made of microorganisms, and that
Microorganisms.
yeah, and
Cool.
those microorganisms are also made of microorganisms. He wrote an entire Bible 2.0, which is online, and I'm still trying to figure out, because he was horrible in making his website. I told him I would mirror it on our website, but every single link will lead to his, so I have to completely rewrite the entire website in order to make it possible for me to mirror it. Because what he wanted is, when he dies, that his stuff will still be accessible somewhere. So I promised him I'll mirror it, because he's a really nice guy. He makes great drawings, by the way. um,
Yeah.
you see, the drawings he makes, you see those in um preschool, I think, except for all the nude depictions that he has on there. He has some great uh,
Yeah.
depictions of sex with Adam and Eve, and things that Jesus supposedly did. It's
Cool.
some
I mean,
some
that sounds
That
great. And he's
Yep.
not fleecing a whole bunch of rubes. So,
No,
not
that's
yet.
fair
that's the
enough.
point. That's the point. He's Dutch, and he's not making any money off of it. He's just a guy living somewhere in a I think in a small apartment in Amsterdam. He's not bothering anyone. He will tag you in on Twitter, and he will have a conversation, but he won't be obnoxious. He
Right.
won't be uh, uh, hurling insults and stuff. If you don't believe him, you can actually have a decent talk with the guy. So
Sounds fairly Jesus-y, really.
yeah,
Pretty nice guy
yeah,
you could have a conversation with, and he'd be like, yeah, fairly reasonable, pretty good guy.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he's famous in Holland for he was on national TV once, and then said that he was probably able to fly, and
Cool.
tried to demonstrate
Oh, I
that
want to see that.
in the yeah, he tried to demonstrate that in the studio, and that didn't go down well. But
No. The planets
yeah,
were not aligned properly. No.
as I said, the difference is he's an amicable guy, so you can have a conversation with him, whereas the guy we still need to get back at some point, who calls himself the wife of God, is
Oh,
is
that guy.
not
Oh,
is not a good guy.
Fuck that guy.
Well, I have a Jesus with 2 son wives that he's successfully branded with his giant fucking tattoo on the chest seal.
Wait, hold on. Jesus with 2 son wives.
Yeah,
What's the breakdown on that?
Yeah,
Robert,
now we need
you're
to know
going to
more.
love this.
Hit me. Hold on. Let me get a quick drink. Let's just hold on.
All
Be
right. You're going to need it, Peter. I apologize.
good. I don't. This is great. Keep going.
Are you strapped in? Are you braced?
We're ready. Hit us.
I'm ready.
Okay, we did an episode called Desperate Son Wives. So Lord Stephen Christ recruited one mentally ill child and one conehead douchebag to his cult and called them his son wives, and they ended up with an 8-inch beer tray tattoo with "I belong to Lord Stephen Christ" on their
Jesus
chests.
Christ.
Yeah,
Are you shitting
but
me?
but it worked out well because he threatened yet another president, went back to jail. One of the son wives is now was Nailon, is now Naileen. So he's a lady, but he's better. He's better. And the other is still worshiping Stephen while
Oh, fuck
working at Wendy's.
Hold on. You're the son wife of Jesus.
He's not gay.
Oh, well, of course not.
No.
You're married to the single largest power in the universe,
Mhm.
and you're working for $9.15 an hour,
At Wendy's.
slinging fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
While-
because
while-
that's just like hold on, let me get this straight. The wife of God who slings booze, but you're married to God who created a world. You know, this is like I Dream of Jeannie. You remember that fucking show?
I know.
You got a lady who's hot as shit. You keep her in a bottle. You can whatever you ask for, she'll give you. But you're still in the United States military, and you keep her in a bottle.
There you go.
Genie went to the wrong fucking dude. Give me a genie. My life is completely different, right? Yeah. So you're married to God, but yet you're making square hamburgers at Wendy's.
And God is in jail for the second time for threatening another president like he did the last time. And he's never getting the fuck out.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. My first crush was actually not I Dream of Jeannie, but the Bewitched woman.
Bewitched. You know, there's a toss-up. There's a toss-up. I myself am a Barbara Eden guy. My first crush, I would stare super hard at the screen with those sheer pants. Like, you know, I'm just a kid. This was long before Pornhub. Mm-hmm. Today's kids have no idea how easy they got it. Yeah. Right? So it just kind of depends on what your taste was. I can see the Bewitched crush. Totally.
I saw that.
I guess I'm just a little bit freakier. The lady in the sheer pants, that was my jam.
For me, I saw the nose moving and I said, I like this and I don't know why. But I'm 9 years old. I'm going to stay with it. And I did, and I worked out, you know.
Hey, I mean, there's really no wrong choice. It's kind of 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. They're great both choices.
7 of 9, Lieutenant Uhura. Yeah. You know, Kirk and his mom.
You do what you got to do. Like I said, I myself am a genie guy. Barbara Eden is almost 80 years old. You know that? That should make everyone in this conversation feel old as shit.
Yeah, but she still looks 26.
Well, so my first crush was Purdy from the Avengers.
Good call.
And she's in her 70s now and still looks great.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're gonna go over first crushes, my first crush was Princess Leia. My second crush was She-Hulk, the comic book. 7 feet tall, 500 pounds, this green lady who could kick ass. Those were my first two crushes. And my third crush, actually, was Daphne from Scooby-Doo. You remember her?
Yeah.
I think maybe it was the brain thing. I have no clue. But
Daphne was the one with the glasses? The smart one?
No. The one with the glasses was the nerdy one.
Velma.
Daphne was the
redhead one with the hairband.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
who always went away with Fred. We're just going to look over here.
Always went away with Fred, but nothing happens. Like, Fred, what's your problem, dude?
They never find Dick.
You're sitting there in the mystery van. You got Daphne, Scooby, Shaggy, everyone's out. You got Daphne to yourself, and you're going to sit here and try and figure out a mystery. You're doing it wrong. You're fucking doing it wrong.
I watched the whole thing, and never once did they find anything. They're always like, we're always here at the end. We can kind of flush.
And at the end, it's always the same shit, right? Those meddling kids. So the bad guy normally, the bad guy usually tripped himself up or herself up. They just so happened to be there when it fucking happened. But as I look back, as a grown-ass man, my big problem with Fred, Daphne was throwing herself at him. Fucking get to work, Fred.
Yeah.
You got a job to do.
Shaggy is an asset of our show, and don't worry about Daphne.
What's that?
Shaggy was right in there on the DL because Fred's as gay as the fucking hills.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I never thought about that. You're probably right.
He was like, I see you more as a sister.
The skin tight bell bottoms.
There you are.
Yeah. Perfectly coiffed hair.
And I'm not judging. They had a wonderful relationship.
Hey, you do you. Yeah, like I said, as long as your shit doesn't have a victim, I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying, you got access to Daphne. And all you want to do is solve crimes with her. You're doing it wrong.
What?
Or maybe we didn't know, but maybe Fred and Daphne were related. You
I
ever
think
think
they
about
maybe
that?
had a thing. Yeah,
But
it's kind of
so,
siblings from a different
Robert,
mother, maybe.
Maybe.
do keep in mind it's a kids show. I mean, if they would have played out your fantasies, we'd had a ton of
Yeah,
trouble.
Scooby Doo slash
Parents
fiction.
trying to
You know,
explain
out there
what's going
somewhere,
on.
someone made a porno with Fred and Daphne. That
No,
happened. That fucking
I've
happened.
I've seen some great ones. I mean, there was Schindler's Fist. That was favorite. Lord of the Rings, they didn't really have to change too much. I mean, it was already a fucking homoerotic fantasy. Come on, Mr. Frodo, let me get you to Mordor.
Oh, fuck you. You gotta let me swallow my drink first before you do. So hold on. Okay, before COVID hit, we had this game at work. Excuse me. Oh, fuck me. Where we would try and make porn titles out of everyday movie titles.
Yep.
So you gotta have like, Indiana Bone in the Temple of Poon. The Empire Pounds Back. So I mean, you're kind of on that track right now.
Lord of the Ring piece.
Lord of the Rings. And if you have to ask what a ring is, you need to get out and find out. So
Actually, I mean, poon, that's a great word, but we have another candidate on the show who is a TI, a targeted individual, and she defeats the gang stalkers by rubbing hot chili sauce on her poonanner because it throws off their EMF rays. No shit. It's like a fucking cooking show.
all right. There are two things that should never go fucking together. You can't put chili sauce on some punani. You just can't do it. That doesn't even sound comfortable.
I mean, she does it, but she's really inefficient because it takes like 45 minutes to get around to that. But that's how all of her videos end. Well, I've got the ingredients here, and this is the EMF and the whatnot. Come on, get to it. You're going to put chili sauce on your punanner. Yeah, again.
One. So my first week, I think it was my first week in Canada playing football. Every rookie goes through shit. That's just whether you're in the NFL or CFL, you're going to eat some shit.
Yeah.
I took a beating, literally took a beating, but I wasn't that guy. And the guy from my draft class was a quarterback. They soaked his jockstrap in icy hot overnight. Now the coaches just say, hey, whatever happens, happens. Hazing's hazing. It's a part of the culture. We had to stop practice because it was a white guy and his balls were the color of my shirt.
Yeah, that can
It
really
literally
hurt.
burned him. It literally burned him. So when you're talking about chili sauce on the punani and everything else, I was like, that doesn't even sound safe. Doesn't even sound sexy.
No, but it's the FBI and the CIA that are scanning her all the time, and it's the only way she can throw off the mind beams. I'm like, silver foil woman? Yeah, aluminum foil? I mean, come on.
Oh, fuck.
What we always reflect on is on YouTube, we're seeing the 10% of the iceberg that's actually above the sea level.
You got a point.
And if that is condiments on the genitals, what's under the ocean? What's living under there? You don't wake up in the morning and think that's a great idea. You got to work up to it, right? Like murder. You don't jump that.
That's the next level shit.
Was she rubbing fucking Jello on her punanner for years and peanut butter and then crunchy and then instant coffee and where does it end? For fuck's sake.
Apparently at hot chili sauce.
I hope so.
A habanero, maybe a ghost pepper, a reaper. Who the fuck knows?
I can still get my head around how you figure this out, that this will work. I mean,
good question.
On our shows, we regularly talk about using the scientific method to find out whether or not something actually works. What I'm thinking about now is, how did they test that the hot sauce worked.
Oh
How
man.
what kind of experiment was involved to figure out that hot sauce will
Yeah,
work, whereas
she's been doing it for years.
mayonnaise and
The
mustard and ketchup don't. Uh,
Well, don't you think it's kind of a stair stepper? Because at least here in the States, you have different levels of ketchup. You've
Yeah,
got
like we have different levels of batshit as well.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you go to the store now, you can get like ketchup mixed with mayo. You can get ketchup mixed with mustard, ketchup mixed with spicy mustard, ketchup mixed with hot salt. So maybe they just kind of went like, okay, we're going to start right here at regular ketchup.
Mhm.
Let's do ketchup and mustard.
Yep.
Well, that didn't do the trick. Let's go ketchup and spicy mustard. Let's go ketchup and hot. I don't know how that shit works.
I'm sure
Again,
there's
I can do some kinky shit, but
well,
condiments
what I'm
are
figuring
safe
out,
for hot dogs and hamburgers.
how do you then conclude that you're no longer being scanned? How do you figure that out? Is there any kind of test set up
I,
to figure out that you're no longer being scanned, or is it that you're not getting any feedback from the FBI anymore?
Well,
I think at
does,
that
Yeah.
point you don't give a shit. At
Yeah,
that point you don't give a shit.
Peter, I can short circuit it. You're overthinking it, brother.
Yeah, but when you're at the point where you're
probably.
taking fucking McKellarney's hot sauce and putting it on your nutsack or your punani, you don't give a fuck about being scanned.
Yeah,
Right? You don't.
at that
You
point.
left I could give a shit 17 steps that way. You don't
Yeah.
care anymore.
I mean, it would be nice if there was some structure to it, but yeah, sadly, there isn't. And Punana woman, she's not scamming anybody. She's just being ridiculous and hurting herself. And okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We have the Dan Shelley ruling. Dan Shelley was a guy who used to always predict the end of the world, but he was harmless. And he was kind of affable, and he looked like Matt Damon, only obese. So he was Fat Damon, and we adopted him. So Dan Shelley ruling on Punana lady, it's like she's a low risk. She's not hurting anybody, but don't go there, because I mean, if your date smells of capsicum,
Oh God!
it's usually a bad sign, right?
Oh,
But I have to ask, how do you find these people? Are there people looking out and sending you links, or how does this work? Because I've been on YouTube for quite a while. I don't get people like that in my recommendations.
I get all the deep fried shit recommendations on YouTube. It's great.
But where do
Everyone
you
at the
find
doc-
these people?
Well, we have the whole institute working on it. So it's an international organization of assets, some in deep cover, some more transparent, that feed information back into the central hub, which is in the Arctic Palace of Silence. And then it comes to Michael and I through the institute. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Shlomo. Appreciate
Well, and I'm a little bit curious. So are there people that you talk about that then end up interacting with you? I mean, I know for a fact, because I've seen parts of the show being featured on G-Man's channel. So G-Man has noticed. But does that happen?
It does from time to time, and when it does, it's usually either highly comedic or really serious. So previously, we've had interactions with the world's most degenerate, brown-fingered scumbag shaman, Patrick John Coleman, and briefly with Samuel Owen Hancock, the god of the concave earth, and with G-Man, who I've made a decision not to engage with directly anymore, because he's a legit retarded person. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's not fair. So
punching down.
Well,
he's also an odious, vengeful, malicious little shitbag.
To be honest, I saw his last debate on Modern Day Debate, which I thought was terrible. I did
Who is that with?
get on his show last Wednesday, his pre-trials, as he calls it. For some reason, he has a weird fixation with courts. He's always taking someone to court, and that never happens. And now he's decided to make his own court where he will judge atheists and he will judge himself while being the judge. So that also doesn't work.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. International
that's
Court
me.
of G-Man.
And the weird thing is, I went on pretty much just to troll him. I had a backdrop where I was in hell with all kinds of fire, and I had G-Man's hell written over my head. So he finally paid some attention. But I did get to talk to him, and he was calm, which
Was he really?
Never happens. And so
I saw a G-Man clip this morning, or listened to one. I don't think he's very mentally stable. I don't think that's an act. I think he's kind of not right.
So my assessment is that now YouTube has become his entire life. It's literally the only thing he cares about. So he doesn't preach anymore. He doesn't talk about the Bible anymore unless he needs to back up some of his own actions, which he apparently can. I think he's living in this fantasy world that is his YouTube channel, and to him that's absolutely the only thing that counts, and that's why he's getting into huge fights with Dragnot, who's basically just mocking him, and
actually
still will give him a few bucks when he doesn't have anything to eat. It's a really weird dynamic.
And again, in all seriousness, I speak about G-Man and make harsh comparisons. To be very clear, I have a mental illness and a cognitive deficit that's successfully managed and isn't really a thing for me. So when I speak about these things, I speak as a kind of fellow traveler on that path. I mean, to a degree. So the most respectful thing I can do for G-Man is not engage him and mock him from a distance,
right?
In the hope it does him some good.
No, I dig what you're saying, and I'm sitting here trying to find that clip so I can, because apparently he threatened to sue someone 10 times, and the guy put him back on his show to call him out.
Cool.
And I comment on some fucked up shit on Twitter. And people are, well, that person's clearly mentally ill. And like you, I've had some struggles with my mental health. And it's like, struggling with mental health, more than likely you're going to do something bad to yourself. You're not going to take that out on someone else, kind of. And so G-Man's behavior, whether he's, you name it, schizophrenic, bipolar, I don't give a shit. To me, even if he is mentally ill, that's separate from the fact that I just think he's an asshole.
I agree.
Right?
I only comment on what people choose to share on a public forum that's available for comment. You won't see me on here when I'm like, my life is a meaningless dark shell and I wish I would die right now. Yeah. Because that's not something that needs an audience, and I know what it is.
Right.
If I was out here doing that, I would hope my friends, and they would say, you need to go to the doctor right now. Yeah. You need help. You are fucked up. But I'm sure a few people would be like, you think you're Jesus? Awesome. Let me give you some money. And it would kind of entrench my delusion. It would be a way of validating, oh, well, maybe this is the way. And there's the danger.
Yeah. But see, again, there's mental health, and then there's just being fucked up. And I've mentioned this when talking to Peter and on other channels before. Austin, where I live, is a huge hub for some cult escapees, the Children of God. Yeah. And the stories they've told me have literally made me grab my toilet and almost throw up. I mean, it's shit that you would never imagine in a million years. And even if the center of it, the guy who claimed to be Jesus, let's say he had a diagnosed mental illness, that's separate from the fact that this was a piece of shit, right? Again, you can live with bipolar mood disorder and still be a good person. You're probably going to harm yourself before you go and harm somebody else. So it's like, let's make a distinction between mentally ill and being a fucking asshole,
So,
right?
It's really interesting, and it resonates with our previous conversation about fascism. What has fascinated and terrified me in the study that I've done of Nazism and other kind of totalitarian regimes is most of the people involved weren't psychopaths.
Exactly.
Most of them were regular guys in an abnormal power system.
Yep.
It's like, these are your orders. This is your job. Oh shit. Well, either and people are forced into that kind of decision, often by previous bad decisions.
Yeah.
Well, let's join this shit. But what I'm saying is ordinary and normal, rational and kind people can be twisted into all kinds of shapes if you just give them a limited number of decisions steered towards your preferred outcome, be it Jesus, Vishnu, or the contents of your 401.
Right.
I could be much wealthier if I was a cunt, Fleece a bunch
Couldn't we all? Couldn't we all?
I
saying.
think that goes for all of us. If you, there's so many people out there who just want to be taken for a ride and are willing to throw money your way if you just feed some part of what they believe or want to believe. It would be so incredibly easy. And as Robert said, having a mental illness is nothing to be ashamed about.
Nope.
But if you're going to use it as an excuse to be a terrible person, so for people who do not know, and I do want to do a quick shout out. We were on a show for Atheist Morph's channel, who did a breakdown of Robert's debate recently. That's going to be uploaded quite soon. That's where you get the entire cast of the Gonna Go For It channel in one separate setting, which I think we should do on a regular basis, because that
was fun.
That was a lot of fun doing that, just picking out a topic. But what we discussed there was someone who's obviously not well, but being a complete waste of humanity, and I think hiding behind it, and that's the part that I don't get. I mean, you've got help available. You can get mental help. You can get a medication, and there's no way that you need to behave like this in public. If you know that that's who you are, you can just sit in the corner and not bother anyone with it, because that was a terrible thing. What happened on that show. And I think, Doc, I'll shoot you a link. I think I may have found you a new channel to talk about, and this time it's actually an atheist.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm
lot to break down.
Equal opportunities when it comes to that. For me, the essence of it comes down to hearing too many times, I have insert psychiatric diagnosis.
Whoops.
Nope. Did we lose him?
I think.
Oh no. Oh,
I think we lost him. Let me go check.
Shit.
Yeah. So Doc does have a dodgy internet.
Okay.
So
I like this guy. Shit. Let's get him back. He's got me in stitches. He's great.
I'll send him a quick message.
Okay. Damn it.
Okay, I sent him a message. So yeah, yeah, a lot of people don't know Doc. I didn't know Doc. He's been around on YouTube quite a while, I think, already. And most of the bigger trolls pretty much know his name. Um,
Because
I
he said psychic vampires, but I couldn't find that channel. So hopefully,
oh
can you post the link?
yeah, I have that link. Let me go and look real quick. Um
Because
okay, we have. In the meantime, we've got Doc back.
here he is.
See, this is
About
this,
6
this is what happens, Doc. If you start threatening atheists, they're gonna mess with your internet connection, and
Yeah,
you're out.
the Holy Spirit of atheists came and shot all over my cornflakes or something. No, it seems strange. The more I spend on a laptop, the more it crashes. What is that? Is that like the reverse progress effect? You know?
I have
You're
no
back.
clue. It could also be
Well,
the revenge of Slippery Dan. I think.
Yeah, or
Slippery
maybe
Dan, who's that?
maybe it's demons. Slippery Dan was the first mouse that came into my apartment, and the Ballad of Slippery Dan is a very sad story because he came to a bad end. He led a band of insurgents, and I executed him in combat, and I left his body there as an example for the others.
Put his head on a stake for his homies.
I crucified him on like a lollipop stick right outside the hole, you know, full Lord of the Flies. But, you know, they don't listen. They're like, fuck him, he's fucking dead. There were crumbs over there. We're going for it. But my rules are in combat, I'll take their lives because that's a thing. But once I capture them, I've got to treat them humanely, right? So more than a couple of times in the last plague, I found myself walking down in Owl Park at midnight with a plastic box full of mice jumping around. I'm like, what the fuck have I done with my life? But you know, if it's like, guys, I've fed you, you've got a chance. I mean, you're fucked. I mean, welcome to Raptor Park, little friends.
Oh
So-
my god, this is great.
While you were off, Doc, I did get a question. So the psychic vampire shows, they
my God.
run on Omni's channel.
They run on the Omni-Eris Magic Kool-Aid channel.
Okay.
On Saturday evening for Europeans, Saturday at 4 p.m. for people in Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty much the time I operate on, which is a little inconvenient given that I don't live in that time zone. I wake up, everyone's asleep, it's dark.
So you and me both. I'm pretty much the same. I sleep during the day and I'm awake during the night, which is why most of my friends online are Americans, Canadians, and Australians, because obviously they're up when I'm up, and so that happened. For the people who want to check it out, I put a link in the side chat to Omni's channel, and
Yeah, it's
I haven't
family
done it yet. I will also
family-friendly
post a link to Doc's channel in the description later, so you can go check it out, find Jesus, all that good stuff, because in times like this, you do need a little cheering up, and I think that's a good place to go.
Yeah, it's a family-friendly kind of show. We make jokes about drug abuse, mental illness, dead hookers, and eating babies frequently.
Very family friendly, like Chuck E. Cheese.
Because all of those things are in the Bible.
You got it.
Well, if it comes down to it, what isn't in the Bible? Because pretty much everything you want there to be is in the Bible, so you can pretty much justify everything you want to do. Just point
great
to.
big book of multiple choice, but I do love
Yeah.
seeing them tap dance around the question, well, why is slavery not really slavery? Or,
Oh,
it's the good kind of slavery. What?
I can't listen to that. Yeah, when they go down that road, that it's not that kind of slavery, I'm like, well, what the fuck kind of slavery are you talking about? Right? When
Yeah.
I'm told I can beat someone as long as their eyeballs don't fall out, as a martial arts expert, do you know what kind of damage you have to do to make an eyeball coming out of a fucking human skull? You got to put in some work. That's not just one punch or one kick. That's a lot of fucking work. So
I mean, dude, you can beat them, and if they die after 4 or 5 days, it's all good.
you're good to go.
2 or 3,
You're good to go.
it's a little bit edgy there.
Oh yeah, I've gotten on Twitter battles with some idiots, and it's like, well, you have to look at hermeneutics or the context of the time.
Yeah.
And God, who was it? I think I was talking to Cy Gart during the slavery talk, and he was talking about the context of the time. I was like, I don't give a fuck about the context of the time.
That was wrong.
Ask the
It was
people.
wrong then.
Yeah. Ask the people who were slaves then, right?
Yeah.
There was, and also we talked about the rape thing, which is a big soft spot for me. It was like, well, we got to talk about the context of the time. I don't give a fuck if it was 1700 or 2020. Ask any rape victim, did you enjoy what happened? And they're going to say, go fuck yourself. So no, there is no context by which slavery is okay, rape is okay, murdering a live baby's okay. So it's like, just save your shit for when you're in your Bible study. Because if you come to us with that shit, I'm going to hang you out to dry.
Even if we give them all of the context of the Bible and all of the content therein and say, okay, this is all true, you're now defending these heinous acts.
Oh, yeah. And I actually said that with Cy, who I actually had a very pleasant conversation with. All credit to Cy Gart for being very cordial to me, and I was cordial to him. We actually had a great conversation. But I said the exact same thing, that even if all this shit is right and Jesus came to overturn it, you still have to explain to me why once upon a time slavery was okay, why rape was okay, while murdering a 3-year-old was okay, why taking sex slaves was okay. Even if you show that all that shit was correct or moral back then, you still have to tell me why that shit was okay.
Well, I'm going to make a very subjective moral judgment. This is based on my subjective principles, based on my subjective understanding of this reality, which we may share or may not. Any circumstance which says I'm allowed to say to you, I own you and I can hurt you for no reason is wrong.
Yep.
Whether you're 40 years old or 4 years old. It's that simple. And you know what? I didn't need a really big book to work that out.
Oh, yeah.
That's because I've been 4 years old.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but I got into a back and forth with someone whose name I won't say because she doesn't need any more publicity. But we
go on, say it.
Okay, fine. Fuck it. S.J. Thomason.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, God.
And I think it was my first 2 coffee talks without Peter. And I think it was the second one where she said we needed the Holocaust to show us how to treat Jews.
Oh.
And then I said, well, okay, if that's your mindset, excuse me, barbecue belch, that was disgusting. Did we need the transatlantic slave trade to teach white people how to treat blacks? And all of a sudden, her internet went dead. Right? And it's just like, you don't need a Bible. Yeah, twice. And Peter actually posted a video which made me laugh my ass off because in typical SJ fashion, she was like, well, I didn't say that. Well, here are the receipts. Because if it's not Peter, it's Florida line. And you're right. I don't need a book to tell me not to do X, Y, and Z. I don't care what fuck the year it is. Slavery is always wrong. Homicide is always wrong. Rape is always wrong. It's all bad. And so, yeah, one of my favorite things was one of the ladies that I'm friends with, she got one of her pastors on my tail when she found out I was an atheist. And it was the rape issue. And I remember him saying, because one of the prescriptions for rape in the Bible was you have to marry your rapist.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember him saying, Deuteronomy. I remember this guy saying, well, that's how we took care of rape victims back then. I was like, can you hear the words that just came out of your fucking mouth? You don't take care of a rape victim by making her marry the man that just raped her, have his kids, wash his dirty drawers, cook his food, fuck him when he wants to get fucking take care of his house.
The justification is that woman would never be able to marry again, so she would need someone to take care of her.
Right.
Which doesn't make it any less obnoxious to suggest
sick and fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I am confident that dads throughout history have been quite a lot like us. And if that shit went down, maybe there was a judgment made by the people in, whatever power there was. But I'm sure some asses were kicked.
Oh,
it's like, marry my daughter so that she can look after you your life. Stare into the eyeball. This shit is never happening.
I say this all the time when this topic comes up. I was hanging out with a friend, and actually my Jack Russell, who's sitting right here, who's asleep next to me. I don't even know what he did, but I heard him yelp. I was taking a shit or a piss, and when I came out, I was like, what the fuck? And this lady was like, well, I just spanked your dog. I'm like, okay, see that front door you came in? Get the fuck out. You don't hit my dog, because if you do it again, I'm going to burn your house down. Don't you ever touch my dog. And that is my Jack Russell, who I love more than most humans, almost all humans. If you rape my daughter, I'm not going to say, let's book the church. Now you have to take care of her. Matter of fact,
50 shekels, Dad. There you go. That's all you're getting. No.
And it was actually the most cordial interview me and Peter, at least in my opinion, we ever had, was with Aaron. And he was a super nice guy. And I would talk to Aaron again and again. He was a super nice guy. But I remember Peter made the example of, well, what if someone, raped your sister? Kind of what would you do? And I'm trying to remember his exact answer, but it was somewhere along the lines of, well, how much money does he have? As long as he can take care of her. And I'm like, no. That's the wrong answer. If someone raped my sister, the correct answer is I'm going to rip his balls out through his fucking throat. Then I'm going to feed it to him. I don't care about what your W-2 says. It can be $70 million a month. If you rape my sister, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Well,
it's just backflip shit. I just have to stay consistent with my Bible. It's like, no, don't. Be a human.
The only good reason for that verse would be that at least then you would have a book with rules and have the guy show up at a given point in time where you can be there waiting for him.
One, you're right,
and
two,
that would work because I'd be there waiting for him.
Oh yeah. That would be the only reason. But
in the context of the Bronze Age, a social cohesive narrative that people buy into is going to help a group of people living together, and that's where religions come from, and our need to go, oh, I don't know, let's project a bigger mystery into what we don't already know. I get it.
So do I.
Yeah, let's not apologize for heinous shit and wrap it up in fucking Jesus, because that's a whole bunch of bullshit.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's some bullshit.
And the Jesus of history, or the meme Jesus of the New Testament, he wouldn't really be down with that, He was down with teaching uneducated people some basic stuff and hanging out with the marginalized and saying, hey, hang out with these people because that could be you one day.
Right.
And that was it. It's a good message. It's a basic message. But yeah, I could have a beer with that guy. And I always fancied getting drunk with Gandhi, to be honest, because I think Gandhi was a big caner.
Oh, sure.
Big party guy.
I'm going to one up you a little bit. I don't hold Jesus in the same esteem. People want to suck Jesus's dick and, you know, just focus on the good stuff. And it's like, you know, my dad is infinitely better than Jesus. And I've had a beer with my dad. And I would think I would enjoy it a hell of a lot more than hanging out with Jesus. So I don't give the Jesus character, whether you want to take the magic powers out or not, I don't give him that fucker that much credit. As far as I'm concerned, I would much rather hang out with my granddad or my dad.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think the guy has been dulled down from whatever collection of characters he originally was.
Sure.
To something pretty banal. You know, if you need an instruction book that says, don't murder folks, you need it written down. For fuck's sake, come on. Don't steal other people's shit and don't murder folks. I don't need that kind of written down.
No.
You say that, and the exact same guy, the exact same pastor who that lady kind of sicked on me, I remember saying pretty much the exact same thing. Where it's like, look, if you need a book or a Jesus to tell you don't rape the 17-year-old girl across the street, you're not a good person. And his response was, you're right, Robert, I'm not a good person. And I was like, you can't insult someone who is already insulting themselves. Right? Yeah. If you already think you're a piece of shit, there's nothing I can say that can take you down to that level.
Occasionally they come out with unwitting truth that cripples me. And it levels me like fucking Jenga. When they say things like, and by they, I mean fundamentalist Christians, and occasionally they come up with things like, if it wasn't for the Bible and Jesus, I would do all of these things.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you're wrong. I pray to the God that you believe in that you are wrong, because I don't have that. And I've raped and murdered exactly as many people as I've ever wanted to. That is zero. I'm getting on for 50. It seems like a pattern of non-rapey, non-murdery. No Jesus involved.
Yep.
And the minute I heard your Magic Zoo Boat story when I was 4 years old, I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I was done. It's like, there's no way that actually happened, right?
All right. You say that. You and I have the exact same story. I mean, I said this on SJ's channel. When we were sitting in that Park Village house. Let's just say I wasn't even in third grade. And they told us the Noah's Ark story. And my very first question was, what did they do with all the poop? Right? Because we had just finished visiting the zoo. And this was the San Antonio Zoo. Was
the whole place
enormous. So you've got, elephants, apes, monkey. You got all these animals. And it smelled horrible. And you had a fully trained staff of people to care for these animals, feed the animals, clean the animals, scoop the poop, everything. And the first thing that came to mind was, what'd they do with all the poop? My Sunday school teacher told me two things. One, you're going to go to hell. Two, get out.
Magic poop.
Yeah. And I was like, that was the first time I was like, okay, someone's lying to me. Someone's lying to me.
For me, it was the end of Christianity in schools, but it was still very much that kind of vibe. It was there as a cultural thing. My parents wrote me a lovely letter that I should be excused religious instruction because I'd rather read a book from age 5. And the teachers were like, yeah, we totally get it. But bear in mind, at this time, the same cultural reference, we were being read books like Little Black Sambo. No shit. Little Black Sambo in the Jungle. And
wow.
Yeah. But that was 1977, long time ago. And it's totally fine now. We have people of color in schools, and it's a cultural transformation, and it's a great thing. But religion was still a thing, and I was always the guy that asked the questions, and then I was sitting outside going, oh, you're singing your nice songs about nailing a guy to a fucking tree. We're teaching literally. And there's the nice guy, Jesus, he's awesome, we love him. And then they murdered him by
Yep.
nailing him to a fucking tree. 6-year-old singing this, and as a 6-year-old, I'm going, I'm not comfortable with this, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They seem to be into it, but this is wrong for me. And I just listened to that, and it's a voice I've listened to
Oh yeah.
my whole life.
Yeah, I think the difference is, like, I remember now that I'm almost 50, you think about all the songs that we used to sing as kids, like Afternoon Delight and all these other She Bop, Dancing by Myself, I'm Turning Japanese. These are all songs about either jerking off or having sex. And we sang them at the top of our lungs. They were great songs. They're like, I just sang a song about jerking off in front of the whole 3rd grade class. And then you're like, oh shit. But no one ever tells you that the Jesus thing was a fucked up ass story. Right? To this day, you still got 50-year-olds saying, God, what was it? We used to sing a song and it was Yes, Jesus Loves Me. And I'm telling you, it was basically, right, yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus. But it was basically, it was the story, it was glorifying a murder.
Robert, you just gave me a terrible flashback.
Oh no!
I don't know if any one of you is familiar with a singer called Lily Allen.
No,
I think Doc might be.
I think Lily Allen came after my day, but
yeah, so
I know of her.
Yeah, so Lily Allen has a song called "It's Not Fair," and I urge everyone to go on YouTube and find that particular song.
Looking at it.
It became popular in Holland because of the line dancing, because it was a song that a line dance was written to. And you literally saw all kinds of elderly women singing the part "It's Not Fair," not knowing what the lyrics of the song were about. It was a song about it not being fair that she had to perform oral sex on her man and her man didn't return the favor. And so you saw all these people dancing, singing "It's not fair, it's not fair," and I was sitting in a corner laughing my ass off because I knew what she was actually singing about. So
okay, so I'm looking at the lyrics right now. Oh shit!
And the fun part is it starts off with the guy, I forgot his name, who made Dolly Parton famous, really famous.
Porter Wagner.
Porter Wagner, yes. He introduces her and then she sings the song in a kind of country western setting.
Hold on.
It's glorious.
You're supposed to care, but all you do is take. Yeah, all you do is take. I lie here in a wet patch in the middle of the bed. Yep. I'm feeling pretty damn hard.
And you see all these women
giving head. Then I remember all the nice years. Oh, this is a terrible song.
And
oh my God.
And it's just fun to see people dancing, older women dancing, and they have no clue what the song is about, but they chime in when the part comes with "It's not fair." And
you're no good. It's just a shame.
It's just
fun.
My
God. I look into your eyes. I want.
The lyrics are awesome. I think the lyrics are awesome, actually. And if you go watch the clip, it's just hilarious. But that's what you just brought to me by talking about songs with some kind of message. I'll never forget that. That's just glorious to watch.
You're supposed to care, but you never make me scream. You never make me scream.
Yes.
Holy shit. Oh, it's not fair. It's not really okay. It's not really okay. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm going to listen to this when we're done.
Yeah.
This is
absolutely have to listen
all to you that. Do is take. All you do is take. Okay. Just in case I need to be more sad, but yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, I got it.
And I have to say, Lily Allen is considered to be a little bit controversial at times. I'm still a big fan. I think she has a great sense of humor, because that's what the song's about, taking it with a little bit of humor.
Couldn't agree more.
Sorry,
And
that just popped
That
up. That's how my brain works. It's just
join the club.
connects
Looks like all three of us
things
are on the same path, so I
that are
get it.
completely unrelated to everything else. But
and seriously, I mean, if your lover doesn't dine at the Y regularly, they should be returned to the lot, because that
Couldn't agree
future
more.
comes as standard. I
What
hope.
kind of selfish bastard are you?
I know.
yeah. So
Make me a sandwich. I mean, it's a kind of equivalent thing. It's
Are you
the
shitting
thing
me?
you do for the
I want to
person that
make
you care
her
about.
a sandwich after I do that. Are you
Lily,
kidding me? Yeah, you
Lily,
stand like, oh yeah. Who
Lily,
does it?
why are you doing this to yourself?
Oh,
There are
give me
better
a
people
break.
out there.
Yeah.
Really, for God's
If we're gonna
sake.
be that selfish, they got websites for that. Give me a break.
well, so we've come up to the hour and a half marker, and so I really want people to watch this. So we need to
Oh, they're
draw
gonna
this
laugh.
to a conclusion.
Okay.
Doc, at least you'll have an open invitation to come back on the show every time you want if there's anything you want to talk about. Because what
Doc, anytime you want to come on, I will be right fucking here. You're hilarious. You're absolutely hilarious. I
Thanks
needed
to-
to laugh. So selfishly, I say thank you.
Thank you to both of you. It's been a privilege to be on, and you know, we got some comedy in with some of the serious content,
Yeah.
and that's job well done, I think.
Fantastic.
I think so too. What is a little disturbing is that we didn't talk about some of your work maybe because I know
Oh, the important stuff.
I know yes because I know that you're doing a pretty important job. So can we touch on that really quick? So what's going on that level in your life at the moment? Are you still involved with the current situation? Tell us.
I'm very much technically unemployed, but actually working more than I have for quite some time, given the pandemic. So I'm an independent consultant in infectious disease and biopharmaceutical and vaccine development, which means that at this kind of time, the particular experience and skill set that I have is a thing that people want to dip into, and I'm available for that. In the next 6 months to a year, I may sign on with another mission and do that, which I usually do for 2 to 5 years afterwards, or not, depending on how things go. So at the moment, I live quietly in an attic full of books. I shoot mice occasionally and talk to folks about vaccines and pandemic control, which is pretty much living the dream for me, to be honest.
Perfect.
I mean, let's be fair about it. Living like a hitman. Plus with an internet connection where I can reach out to great people and make new friends.
Solid.
Great. So maybe we should do a show on that as well because I still think that's really interesting to talk about. So for today, I think we should call it an end. As I said, you've got an open invitation to come back at any point in time whenever you think it's time to have a little bit of fun. I think this week we've had a couple of talks which were great fun and maybe should have gone out live because no one knows about the pink Land Rover and the deer, which is a story we should revisit on a show.
Here's the thing about that. I mean, the guy who told me that story and had the experience alongside me is funny, naturally and instinctively funny. I have to really work at it, and he just nails me every time he tells that story. So whatever I'm doing is a reflection of some genius that I can't mirror completely.
Well, as I said, this is something we throw out for people. Then at least they will tune in the next time. So Robert, thanks for jumping in and taking over.
It was
Artie.
worth it.
I know
Hope Artie's okay.
I know Artie will be devastated that he wasn't able to make this because Artie was on the last talk that we had with Doc, which was offline, and he was really looking forward to talking to Doc again. So he's going to be chuffed that he's not able to.
Yeah, we'll do this again though.
Okay, that I'll take your word for that, and I'm going to take you up on that as well. I want to thank everyone in the side chat. Some of the people did get freaked out a little by the first topic, I think. So maybe that's one.
Was that deep fried shit and cooking with horde?
Yes, that was a little hard to stomach for some of the people. So maybe
cooking with hoarders is, if you're ever feeling down, if you're ever feeling blue, if you ever look at yourself in the mirror and go, "God damn it, I'm a piece of shit," watch Cooking with Hoarders.
Yeah,
and it's going to help you. It's going to heal the ails you.
Well, Robert is revisiting the first part of the show. We'll end it on this.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. So let's end it on this. We do have an important message right after this, because there's a new book out.
Oh my God!
Everyone should get, and that's why we'll have a Robert. Okay. Okay. So
shit.
I'm going to close it up with our little book commercial. Make sure you'll be back on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. European time. We're having Eric Murphy from Talk Heathen, the ACA, on the show, and if we can get it, we will have all the hosts joining in for that one. So. Catch you all later. Doc, thanks for joining us. And,
thank you, gentlemen.
We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
See you.